I'd like for you to close your eyes, and as you do so, I'd like you to tell me about your Edgar Allan Poe. Describe him for me. What thoughts or words or images are coming to your mind? Okay, a raven, yes. All right, Fall of the House of Usher, a crumbling mansion, yes. A heart beating under the floorboards, yes. A black cat buried in the wall, yes. Some man screaming nevermore, yes. All of this is our Poe, right? He's this dark, gothic, scary writer. Now, what if I was to show you a picture of a river just winding its way through a lush pastoral landscape? Or maybe a picture of an island covered in beautiful flowers and exotic trees that look like it's the home for some little fairyland. That maybe isn't the Poe that you're thinking of, is it? Why is it? Why is that not your Poe? It's not the Poe we read, is it? No, we get that Gothic Poe, but actually, toward the end of his life, Poe turned to landscape tales, and it became his passion to develop his philosophy about an ideal American landscape, and he wanted to help shape what that landscape looked like. And that was largely shaped by the conversations that were going on in his time in the mid-19th century about American landscapes and what constituted a beautiful landscape, whether that was some type of larger public park or someone's own little yard, whether it was a sweeping estate or just a little courtyard area with maybe some potted plants. Americans were interested in shaping their physical world into something that looked beautiful to them. And we still see the repercussions of that today, because that aesthetic tended to introduce a lot of non-indigenous plant species. And while Poe isn't necessarily, we can't hold him accountable for this per se, he did play a role in normalizing and popularizing what we now include in our landscapes today, including things like English ivy and turf grass. And so what I'd like to do before we talk about where Poe came from, I want you to think about your idealized landscape. And so I'd like you to take some paper, take some of the colored pencils there, and I want you to just draw for me what your ideal landscape was. If you could have your own landscape, whether that's a yard, a patio, or some huge estate, imagine your perfect, beautiful landscape. What does it look like? What type of flowers or trees or other plants or other, contributions that you want to make in composing that landscape? Draw that for me right now. Now, as you finish, I want you to tell me about your landscape. Hold it up. Let everybody kind of see your beautiful landscape. And tell me about what's included there. What types of trees are there? What types of plants? What did you want to see in that landscape? Now, what was shaping that decision? Was it something you grew up with? Was it something you saw in a movie or you read in a book? Something you saw at the garden store that just looked pretty? What shapes those decisions? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to take you on a journey from Poe's time to our own, and I want to give you a sense of what shaped 19th century ideas of beauty, and I want to show how that continues to shape our choices today. Folded into that, I want to look at the environmental impact that those choices have. What happens to a landscape when we incorporate plants because we think they're pretty, but they actually aren't indigenous to the area? And so, as we go on this journey, we'll see the different factors that are shaping our own decisions, and by the end, we'll come to a sense of how we can empower ourselves to make more informed decisions about how we create and compose landscapes that we see as beautiful.